Welcome to The Real Conversation, the platform where truth meets clarity on issues that shapes our lives and future. As always, I am your HousinTV Africa, and today we are diving into a subject that affects every Nigerian: housing and the role of insurance in protecting our homes and investment. My guest today is no stranger to the world of insurance. He's a seasoned professional, a royal figure, and a current president of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, Prince Babatunde Oguntade. Thank you for joining us on The Real Conversation.
Thank you, madam. I'm very, very happy to be here.
So now let's begin with the basics. For many Nigerians, the connection between housing and insurance seems distant or unclear. Can you shed light on why insurance is essential to home ownership?
Well, when you talk about housing, you're talking about shelter, you're talking about something that you appreciate, something that is worth having, something that you must protect. And the only tool that has good financial measurement, that is fair, equitable to protect any asset, even apart from housing, is insurance. And you cannot successfully keep your home without having adequate insurance. So where people have assets and they don't take steps to protect them, then it's akin to being pound, being penny wise and being pound foolish. So you cannot divorce insurance from any equitable asset. You need to protect every asset, including housing, with insurance. And let me tell you, there are ways by which you could do this. Take, for instance, a young man who desires a very beautiful home, a very beautiful house, and he wants to bequeath it to his family, whether he's alive or dead. He needs what we call the mortgage protection insurance policy. The mortgage protection insurance policy ensures that in case of death or permanent disability, insurance comes in to pay the balance of the housing loan when this crystallizes. So you find the situation that the man dies and then his family is thrown out of the coveted property. You know that is not good. But if the man has taken up an insurance policy, such as a whole life policy or a mortgage protection policy, or he has even done fire insurance, all of these things are there to protect the asset. A man may not die. The family, the property may get gutted by fire. So when you have a fire insurance policy in place, you are protected. At least you are sure that you get back to the position that you were before the loss occurred. Then you also see that in most cases, when people want to take housing as a form of investment, they need some kind of financing, some financial backup.
Sure.
They need to approach a financier.
Yeah.
And the financier will request you or such person to have a kind of guarantee that comes from insurance. So when you provide the guarantee that is needed, then you'll be given the money to afford the asset as you so desire.
Yeah.
So I tell you that way or the other, you realize that housing and insurance come together.
All right, so that's quite insightful. But beyond risks, many homeowners simply don't insure their homes. What are the biggest obstacles you've seen preventing Nigerians from embracing, housing insurance?
Well, one of the biggest things in recent times that we have discovered and which we have been trying to work against is this our culture of not trusting in insurance. There's this great gully of mistrust between the consuming public, the insuring public, and the insurance industry. But over time, through regular settlement of genuine claims, through adverts, through engagements, through dialogues, we've been able to put that aside. The other one is the issue of culture.
Yeah.
Culture and religion, especially for some of us from northern Nigeria. We feel that insurance is haram. But with time, the insurance industry has developed what we call the takaful insurance thing. Takaful insurance is the allowed form of insurance. It's different from the conventional. This one is just a kind of contributors coming together to put money there. Whether there's a loss or not, there's something to collect at the end. But if there's a loss, you get settled, whatever. So they are just co-owners of this, and the underwriter in between there is just the manager of the fund.
Okay.
Different from the conventional risk that says, the conventional plan that says, so that if you don't have a loss, you don't get nothing. So that has been able to dispel the issue of religion when it comes to insurance in northern Nigeria. And we are working on it. It is growing. I am told that Takaful insurance contribution to the GDP is growing by the day. Maybe it's about 35 billion now. I don't know.
That's quite
But
impressive.
it's impressive.
Yes.
But for a people who have avoided conventional insurance for a while. Then the other one is the issue of lack of information and awareness.
Yeah.
Majority of Nigerians live in the internet, but we are engaging web aggregators, we are engaging leaders of religion, we are engaging market men and market women, and we are moving from place to place so that we do door-to-door, word-of-mouth adverts, and we have to show them prevalent evidence that insurance works. That's what we've been trying to do. But basically, I agree with you that the deepening of insurance, the penetration in Nigeria is 1% or thereabout, and it's something that we are working upon.
All right, so are there any compulsory insurance policies related to housing that Nigerians should be aware of?
Yes, there are. There is what we call the home occupier policy. You have, I think, sections 64, 65, 66 of the Insurance Act 2003 speaks to those areas. You know, every building in Nigeria that is a public building must be insured against what we call public liability. By the word public building, it means every building that has ingress and egress. Every building where a guest, a non-occupier of that premises, walks into from time to time. These include mosques, churches, office buildings, plazas, even private homes, where there are more than 2 floors. It's compulsory for where there are more than 2 floors. But I think the law needs to be addressed. You don't need to have more than 2 floors for you to have that risk that may crystallize. Even if it's a bungalow, the risk may crystallize. Buildings do collapse.
Yes.
Then you also have the homeowner's policy to cover your liabilities. You essentially, that's section 64, 65, 66, public buildings. By definition, public building, I just told you, any building where you can receive a visitor, like I'm a visitor. You are liable if I sleep on your staircase. You are liable for whatever injury I may have. You are liable to compensate me. Then that exists generally. So the law is there. It's just the issue of enforcement and compliance.
I think we still need more awareness so that more Nigerians will be aware of this and begin to, do the right thing when it comes to ensuring their...
I agree with you. I agree with you. The various arms of the industry. For instance, we are having a program from tomorrow to the 4th of July. We are going to do road show. We are going to talk.
That's
the entire insurance industry will be on the road, on the streets of Lagos, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, and probably Kano, talking about insurance awareness, compulsory insurances like motor insurance, building insurances, like you said, even including health workers' liability insurance. Those are also compulsory. There are actually 6 classes of compulsory insurance, but those that relates to you are those that you must have for public liability. They are called public liability insurance for buildings.
All right, so a lot to unpack already, but we're just getting started. When we return, we'll explore how government, developers, and brokers can work together to bridge the housing insurance gap. Don't go anywhere. The real conversation continues shortly.
Get credible and authentic housing news at your fingertips by downloading the HousinTV mobile app. You can also join the African International Housing Show live from across the globe through the HousinTV mobile app. The mobile app features live streaming and trending housing news. You can locate the AIHS venue via the app, network with AIHS seasoned speakers, and live chat with exhibitors. You can also order house or building materials at AIHS via this app. Download the HousinTV mobile app now from the App Store and Google Play Store. And don't forget to click on the notification button. Available for both iOS and Android users. HousinTV is also on Star Times, channel 149 decoder.
Welcome back. Still with me is Prince Babatunde Oguntade of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers. So now let's talk about collaboration. How can the government and real estate developers better integrate insurance into housing delivery?
Yeah, just a while before I came in here, I met the past president of the Agency of Town Planners.
All right.
And I just said to him that there is need for this collaboration between government, town planners, architects, the insurance industry, and even regulators who in regulated entities concerning insurance, those who do approvals. The time has come in Nigeria that no building plan should be issued where there is no evidence of insurance against collapse, against fire, against public liability, among others. You see, we keep having incidents of losses of lives, several lives. We have collapse of buildings in Port Harcourt, Lagos, Kano, everywhere. Nowhere is.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening everywhere. And you find that people die.
Sure.
The contractors disappear. Let me tell you what insurance will do. Insurance will make sure that standards are met. No underwriter will give cover for a catastrophe waiting to happen. They will ensure that standards are met, the right gauges of iron rods, measurements of materials are used, that certified and qualified professionals of maybe Koren or other bodies, are there. And because we know that this thing will probably crystallize into a loss and we're going to pay. So we are going to ensure by assisting the will-be owner that all those things, all those gauges, all those checklists are in place. So that is number one thing that insurance will do. And where all of those are in place, and the unexpected now happens, insurance will be there to settle claims for death. We will settle claims for losses to surrounding properties, general public as may be affected by such losses. They will also provide the sum to start the building all over again.
All right, but now looking at those disasters, like you mentioned, like building collapses and fire outbreaks, what are the emerging insurance innovation, or product that addresses today's housing risk?
The products are always there. We have traditional policies like contractors all risk, erection all risk. This speaks to risks of collapse, among others. You have what you call builder's insurance. That speaks to deaths, injuries, disabilities of workers on site. You have, it depends, you may want to use group life assurance, you may want to, and of course, you should have group life assurance which is compulsory by law. So those policies are there. Then you could just come to say, instead of buying 1, 2, 3 different 4 policies, you could get your broker to do a package policy for that project. That provides cover for each everything of those risks as they may crystallize. Hope you understand me.
Yes.
Because insurance has gone beyond this straitjacketed thing. It is now tailor-made. Your need for insurance on a particular project A that you're handling may not be the same for project B that you're handling somewhere else. And we go beyond that. We even assist, in short, will be prospects rather, to ensure that the right policies of insurance are written to address specific areas in this housing thing.
Okay.
For instance, somebody wants to erect a multi-story building.
Yeah.
The kind of policy that he requires and the quantum is different from somebody who wants to do a 2-floor building in an area. Then you see, we get involved beyond the risk area. We want to ensure that you have the right approvals, because if you don't have the right approvals, number one, we will not issue the policy,
Okay.
because it might be against public policy, and insurance policies are policies of law, written contracts that must never be against public policy. So those are some of those things. So those policies are there. When you just sit with your broker, he looks at the peculiarities of this project and he designs a policy for you.
All right, let's say, okay, property is insured. It's still under construction, and that's, I'm just trying to give an instance, and that building comes crashing down. How would you come in? What will happen at that point? The property is insured and it has all the necessary...
Once the property is insured, the first thing you do is to get in touch with your insurer.
Okay.
If you dealt with the insurer directly, but if not, you get in touch with your broker. Your broker will note the incident and notify the insurer immediately. And in the process of notifying the insurer, they will register the possible claim that a loss has occurred, a claim, because it's not every loss that leads to a claim.
Okay.
It is not every loss. If the loss is exempt from the policy, it cannot lead to a claim. But whether it is not exempt or not, you still tell your broker or your underwriter that must be notified. Where it's been fatal, that his death has occurred, you must inform the police.
Okay.
So your broker will get you the list of dues. You must have the list of dues before the loss even occurs. Once you are issued the policy, you will see at the back of the policy, in event of a loss, notify within so. And there are time limits. For some policies, they give you up to 14 days, for some 21 days, for some 7 days. And there are cases where somebody may not know that a loss has occurred. For instance, you have the issues of subsidence that may not be very physical.
Yes.
Then it may take a while for you to see, for you to notice it. Immediately you notice it, you inform your broker. So the first thing to do is notify your underwriter, notify your broker, then they will now tell you the steps.
All right. All right, so that's quite fascinating insights from Prince Oguntade so far. When we return, we'll wrap up with a conversation on the future. Where is housing insurance headed in Nigeria, and what must be done now? Stay with the real conversation. I'll be back in a short while. Welcome back to the Real Conversation. So let's continue the discussion. As we look ahead, what reforms or changes would you like to see in the Nigerian insurance ecosystem to better support the housing sector?
Yeah, the first thing I would like to see is that anybody going into the housing sector, whether as a consumer or as a broker or as a developer, in real estate generally, is to have a risk management consultant so that we can do adequate risk profiling for that venture. Then at every intersection, when the business has started to move forward, where you started to develop, you must have conversations with your risk manager, that is your broker, or the professional risk intermediary or underwriter from time to time. I want a situation that people will identify risks before they occur. I want a situation that steps are taken. It's like knowing that you have an illness. I know that if you do not take your medication, the illness will crystallize into something, maybe disability or death. So that is the way people should start seeing insurance. Like some people will say, take your food like a medication instead of you taking medication like your food. I want a situation in Nigeria that everybody, every homeowner, every investor in the housing sector will carry insurance as the first gospel relating to their investment. Housing is a worthy investment, and the only thing that can sustain that investment is protection.
Yes.
And where does the protection come from? From insurance. And there is no way you can have a worthy or successful business where you have not taken steps for effective or adequate compensation should a loss occur. So going forward, I want a handshake between practitioners in the housing sector, the insurance industry, government, and the consumers of housing. Because if I know that even just like in the UK, you can purchase a building with £0, you start paying from your pay. That house is insured for the full value from day one. See, where at any point that a loss may occur, your value of investment will be paid. The value, by that I mean whatever installments you have paid for the house. The value outstanding by the way of loss to make up for, to put it back where it should be, will be paid to the developer. So you will just continue. You continue as if nothing has happened. And where you choose to opt out, you keep your check. Where you don't choose to opt out, you pay in the check back. So it will be seen as if the mortgage continues. In Nigeria today, why people look for money, and I think that is the basis for corruption. You know, when our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was campaigning, he said he wants to see credit in the system, in the financial ecosystem. That will reduce the urge for corruptions and stealing. If I know I can buy a house of my choice based on my income today, when I don't have the money, but because there is insurance, because there is credit in the system, what will give back into the credit? It is insurance. In fact, it is insurance that survives for every business to survive. Without insurance, there's no business that will survive. I'll tell you something. You cannot come here in your car confidently if you don't have insurance. You are driving on the road believing that the other party is insured. So if he or she hits your car, you will get compensation.
I think that's the only insurance Nigeria know about.
Do you realize that
I'm very aware
I
of that.
couldn't have come from Lagos to this place if insurance does not exist? Because no airplane will fly without insurance. No pilot will have his license renewed without insurance. I think pilots are the most insurance compliant in Nigeria. Because they can't work, they can't earn their livelihood without insurance. So if we take insurance like the way they take it in the aviation world, then it will be a better society.
If we take that into the housing sector too.
Yes, if you know you are going to buy a piece of land, you know this is the proposed value. Of course, you have the drawing of the house, You have the QSO has given you the proposed cost. You already know the probable value of the house at every stage.
Yeah.
Then you can insure. Then you know if anything happens, you get your compensation. And you can restart, or even if you have completed it and it gets gutted by fire, anything happens, but not if what has happened is against public policy. That's the only time that insurance will stay back and not.
All right. So, and finally, what message do you have for everyday Nigerians? You know, we talk of the landlords, the tenants, the developers about the importance of housing insurance in today's uncertain world.
Let me even tell you something that people may not know. There are some insurance companies in Nigeria today who do, when you buy an all-risk policy for your contents, for the contents of your house, you don't own the house, but when you are the owner, it's usually building and contents. They put in for tenants what they call alternative accommodation cost. Let's say the cost of accommodation for that particular apartment where I stay is 10 naira.
Yes.
What if fire happens tomorrow and the landlord is not able to refund my money? The underwriter will give me 10 naira to secure alternative accommodation. It's available in Nigeria.
Okay.
But most people don't know.
No, not at
So
all.
what I want to tell you is that whether you are a house owner or an occupier, which people call tenant, you need insurance to protect your status in life. Whatever status, whether as an investor, as the homeowner, or as a tenant. Insurance should just be the basic thing, the basis for every transaction in the housing sector.
All right, so thank you so very much. Thank you once again for sharing your time and perspective with us today. It's been an eye-opening conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Prince Babatunde Ogunta, the president of the Nigerian Council of Registered Insurance Brokers, making the case for a safer, more secure Nigeria through housing insurance. Remember, a home is not truly secure until it's insured. I'm Flora Annie, and this has been The Real Conversation. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe. Bye for now.